President Donald Trump has blasted the US Federal Reserve overnight, claiming its chairman, Jerome Powell, and his colleagues have done a terrible job and have failed to stop inflation. Joining me now is our business reporter, Edward Boyd. Ed, Mr Trump's comments come after the Federal Reserve said it would be keeping interest rates on hold.
Rates on hold in America. They've cut rates one whole percentage point, basically over the last 12 months. But this morning around 4 a.m, they kept rates on hold, and President Donald Trump was not happy at all. Very soon he posted on Truth Social, his social media platform, basically saying Jay Powell and the Fed failed to stop the problem they created with inflation. He goes on, they've done a terrible job on bank regulation. If they've spent less time on DEI, gender ideology, it goes on and on. But basically, this is quite an extraordinary outburst from the president. He did appoint Jay Powell back in 2018 when Trump was president previously. Jay Powell's term's meant to finish in May 2026. And at the press conference, because he always hosts a press conference after his cash rate calls, he was asked a lot about his relationship with the president. This is what Jerome Powell had to say.
I'm not going to have any response or comment whatsoever on what the president said. It's not appropriate for me to do so. The public should be confident that we will continue to do our work as we always have, focusing on using our tools to achieve our goals and really keeping our heads down and doing our work, and that's how we best serve the public.
Can you just comment on whether he's physically communicated this demand to you?
I've had no contact.
No contact.
So he says there, I've had no contact with the president. Jay Powell's clearly under a lot of pressure right now, and this is just an extraordinary situation to have the head of the biggest central bank in the world and the president of the United States basically clashing with each other in public.
Yeah, it's a little bit more polite back here, isn't it, between the Treasurer, the RBA and the Prime Minister. But we have now a pretty clear pathway to an interest rate cut. So what are the banks and the markets saying about the likelihood of an interest rate cut in February? Or, given how cautious Michelle Bullock is, can she wait until April Fool's Day?
April Fool's Day, yeah, the 1st of April. Look, there's been a lot of economists in the past 24 hours. As soon as those inflation figures came out that were better than expected, they have moved their forecast to February. Now, the big one was Westpac. Lucy Ellis used to be very senior at the Reserve Bank. She had May 2025 as her forecast. She's brought that forward to February. That's significant. You can see here the trim mean. The Reserve Bank thought it was going to be 3.4% during December. Instead, it was 3.2. So that's a fairly large amount lower than the expectation. So looking at interest rate probabilities, Reuters say there's a 76% chance of a rate cut in February. The ASX rate tracker thinks it's a 95% chance of a rate cut in February. So it's looking pretty good. We saw the stock market yesterday. All sectors were in the green. The whole market was up on the positive news, basically, that rates are most likely to fall just in 3 weeks' time. So we'll obviously have to wait and see. We know the RBA is very cautious, but it's looking more likely.
Yeah, it's going to be a big day for you and I.
It will be.
Looking forward to it. And see you soon.